Hi, I'm Sham from the Dreamweaver engineering team at Adobe, and today I'm going to walk you through one of the most exciting features of Dreamweaver CS6, which is fluid grids. What are fluid grids? Fluid grids is one of the techniques you could use in making your web pages more responsive. Let's take an example of a web page like this, which was designed to be run on the desktop. When I load this web page in a browser on the desktop, the layout is going to be looking absolutely fine. But when I load the same page on a mobile device, the layout is not optimized to the form factor of the device. In order to solve this problem, you need to maintain various layouts for various screen sizes, which is a cumbersome task. Wouldn't it be wonderful if all of this was taken care of automatically so that you can just focus on the content generation? This is exactly what Dreamweaver CS6 is offering with Fluid Grids. Let's start creating a Fluid Grid layout in Dreamweaver. We do that by choosing the new Fluid Grid layout menu from the file menu here. This is going to bring up the file new dialog with the Fluid Grid layout tab selected. On the right side, you will see some customization options using which you can customize the layouts. Fluid Grids in Dreamweaver is based on the Golden Grid system, which actually means you can treat your page to be a grid with certain number of columns. The number of columns in the grid depend on the screen size. Now let's see what these customization options are. The input text boxes that you see here give the option to customize the number of columns that go with respective layouts. I'm going to leave them as is. At the bottom here you see more text boxes using which you can specify the percentage of real estate that the layout should use. I'm going to leave these as is as well. Let me go ahead and create this layout. Dreamweaver brings up a file save dialog asking us to save a dependent CSS file. This CSS file is responsible for managing layouts for different screen sizes. I'm going to name this file Fluid and click Save. This is going to bring up our web page in the design view with some new visual aids. The blue box that you see here and the pink columns in the background are the new Fluid Grid visual aids. These new visual aids help us in customizing the layout for different devices. You can turn them on and off from the toolbar. Let me save this page. I'm going to call it City Guide and click Save. You would get a dialog asking where to save two of these dependent files. These files mostly take care of the browser compatibility. I'm going to hit copy. We are done with the save. Now let's take a look at what Dreamweaver has generated. It has generated a basic container and a special type of div called Fluid Grid div. When working with Fluid Grids in Dreamweaver, it's very important that all the content needs to be put inside this top level container, which is a grid container. Let me delete the Fluid Grid div that Dreamweaver has generated. Now let's get back to the web page and try creating this web page with Fluid Grid layout. Looking at this layout, we can divide this layout to 5 divs, one for the banner, one for the menus, one for the city guide banner, one for the articles, and one for the footer. Let's switch back to Dreamweaver and start inserting Fluid Grid divs. Again, I'm making sure we are creating these rows inside the top level container. You can insert a Fluid Grid div from the new toolbar button here, or alternatively, you can choose Insert Layout Objects and Fluid Grid Layout div tag. Upon choosing this, you're going to get a dialog asking for the name of the div. You would also notice here that there is a checkbox which asks us if we would like to create a new row. Let's leave this checked and name this div as banner. And click OK. This is inserted a new Fluid Grid div into our layout. Let's create the other divs in the same fashion. So I'm going to use this toolbar button here this time, and I'm going to name this as menus. I'm going to name this as city banner. I'm going to name this as articles and this as footer. We would want all these articles to be on the same row. This can be done by attaching a new FluidGrid div to an existing row. Let me select the article row and insert new FluidGrid div but not as a new row. Let me name this as article 1. Let me do the same for the other articles as well. Let me go ahead and save this. We are done with the basic structure of the layout. Now let's start adding some content and style the content. I have the HTML source copied in Notepad, which I'll be pasting into our newly inserted divs. Now let's switch to the code view and let's start with the style sheet. Now let me style the body. Let's start adding the content to our divs now. Let's start it with banner. Menus. City banner. And now the articles. The first one. The second one. And now last article. Okay. Right, so we have copy pasted all the source into the newly inserted divs. Let's go ahead and save this. Let me close the files panel here. Let's check how this is looking in the live view. Wow, it seems almost done. Let's check what has happened with the other layouts. Incredible. All the layouts are now optimized to the screen size. Now let's start adjusting the layout sizes. Let's start with the desktop view. To do that, let me switch to the design mode. I want the articles in the design view to appear on the same row. To do that, I'm going to select this row and resize using the blue box over here. This box has resize handles using which you can change the size of this div. Resizing this box from the left is different from resizing this box from the right. If you resize this row from the right side, it is going to change the width of this row. However, if you resize it from the left side, it is going to add additional margin. So I'm going to go ahead and resize all the boxes here so that they fit into the same row. I'm resizing the second box here, third one, and now the fourth. After I have resized all these boxes here, you can see that now all the articles are on the same row, which is what we intended in the desktop view. Let's go ahead and save this. We are done with the desktop layout. Let us switch to the other layouts and see how this change has affected them. You can see here that though I changed the layout in the desktop view, these layouts stayed intact. And this is again the beauty of FluidGrid layouts. Let's go ahead and customize the other two layouts, which are the tablet and the mobile layouts. In the tablet view, I would want 2 articles per row. So we are going to do resizing accordingly. So let me resize it. And let me resize this second row here. Now they're in the same row. As you can see, as this was an attachment to an already existing row, there is a gap over here. I'm going to use this visual aid to tell Dreamweaver that I wouldn't want this gap over here and snap to the left margin. Alright, now I would want these two rows to be on the same row, so I'm going to resize these two rows. Okay, so we are done with customizing the tablet view. Now let's switch to the mobile mode and see what can we customize here. I would want all these menus to be in the same column, so I'm going to reduce the size of these boxes in the handles, and I would want all the articles to be aligned to the left margin, so I'm going to use the new visual aid here, snap to the left margin, snap to the left margin, and that's it. We're done with customizing the mobile layout as well. So let's go ahead and save this. Let's see how this is going to look in a browser. Let's do a preview in browser. You can see here that as I resize the browser, the layout automatically adjusts itself to the screen size. Incredible, isn't it? To sum up, FluidGrids in Dreamweaver are a huge time saver. It's incredibly easy to use, and you don't have to worry about maintaining different layouts for different screen sizes anymore. Thank you.